Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Narahuncha Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudite Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhakti Naishtiki. So continuing with the discussion on purports by Srila Prabhupada on 87th chapter of Krsna book, Prayers by the Personified Vedas. So yesterday Prabhupada was discussing about the Sankhya philosophy, not Sankhya philosophy, Mimamsaka philosophy by Jaimini Rishi. So then he touched on the Sankhya philosophy a little. So further speaking on that, the conclusion of the atheistic Sankhya philosophy is that because the effects, the phenomena of this material world are temporary or illusory, the cause is therefore also illusory. The Sankhya philosophers are in favor of voidism, but the actual fact is that the original cause is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that this cosmic manifestation is a temporary manifestation of his material energy. When this temporary manifestation is annihilated, its cause, the eternal existence of the spiritual world, continues as it is. And therefore the spiritual world is called Sanatan Dham, the eternal abode. The conclusion of the atheistic Sankhya philosophers is therefore invalid. So Sankhya philosophy, Sankhya is what? Sankhya means to analyze the numbers. Sankhya comes from numbers. So philosophy, they analyze the whole universe into 26 elements. The whole universe is made of 26 elements, all life, living, non-living, everything. But they don't consider soul and super soul. Because according to them, Sankhya universe is made up of all these non-living elements. And that's what they say, original cause and effect. That's what they talk, cause and effect. Or this is the cause of this, and then the effect is this. But they don't understand. Original cause is the Supreme Lord. All the elements are coming from the Supreme Lord. And then there is soul and super soul as well. And this is what Prabhupada is saying. This, because according to them, this atheistic Sankhya, so again and again I'm saying atheistic because there is a theistic Sankhya philosophy also given by Lord Kapil Dev. So according to them, the source of everything is void, zero, nothing, done, nothing, null and void. And ultimate is also void. So how can something come from nothing? How is it possible? Have we ever seen something coming from nothing? But this is what the philosophy is. And it's given by rishis. Sankhya philosophy given by, as theistic Sankhya given by Lord Kapil Dev, atheistic philosophy is given by Muni Kapil Muni. And also Buddhist, they also talk about the same. Ultimate is void. Nihilistic philosophy also it's called. But that's not true. Nothing can come from nothing. How can something, so much of variety, not just something, so much of variety of life, 8,400,000 species, and within every species, so much of variety. Plant, look at the plants, insects, fishes, so many. And then when we talk about non-living, just like water and earth and fire, and earth producing so much of variety, how can it be coming from nothing? And this is just this earthly planet we are talking about. There's so many other planets. So that's why Prabhupada said the conclusion of the Sankhya philosophers is therefore invalid. But those who follow, they really follow it to the core. Then there are the philosophers headed by Gautam and Kanad. They have minutely studied the cause and effect of the material elements and have ultimately come to the conclusion that atomic combination is the original cause of creation. Atomic combination. At present, the materialistic scientists follow in the footsteps of Gautam and Kanad, who propounded this theory called Paramanu Vada. Of course, the modern scientists, they don't give credit to Gautam and Kanad, but they had given all these philosophies, whatever the modern scientists are following. But they don't give them the credit or the Nobel Prizes. This theory, however, cannot be supported, for the original cause of everything is not inert atoms. They say, oh, from atoms, from the interaction of atoms, everything came about. That's why they created, spending billions and billions of dollars, the super collider in Europe. And they're saying, the scientists are, we're going to collide the atoms at such a high speed, and then from there, we're going to figure out how the universe is created. How in the world? What stupidity. When the atoms are created at certain speed, certain energy will be generated. Great, fine. But then how so much of variety comes in the universe? How is it possible to figure that out? But no, they're adamant, oh, we're going to figure it out. I don't know. The collider they inaugurated long time back. I don't know what the final outcome of that. So original cause of everything is not inert atoms. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, as well as in the Vedas, whereas it is stated, Eko Narayana Asit. Only Narayan existed before the creation. So all the creation has to come from Narayan. Srimad Bhagavatam and the Vedanta Sutra also say that the original cause is sentient, and both indirectly and directly cognizant of everything within this creation. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. I am the original cause of everything. Everything means everything, spiritual, material world, everything. He is the original cause. And Matta Sarvam Pravartate. From me, everything comes into existence. Therefore, atoms may come from the basic combinations, atoms may form the basic combinations of material existence, but these atoms are generated from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, the philosophy of Gautam and Kanad cannot be supported. And then there is similarly impersonalists headed by Ashtavakra and later by Shankaracharya, accept the impersonal Brahman effulgence as a cause of everything. So at least this is better than voidism or atoms giving life to everything. Ashtavakra and Shankaracharya says, okay, everything comes from impersonal Brahman, according to their theory. The material manifestation is temporary and unreal, whereas the impersonal Brahman effulgence is reality. But this theory cannot be supported either, because the Lord himself says in the Bhagavad Gita that the Brahman effulgence rests on his personality. So Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has covered everything in Bhagavad Gita, in 700 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. So even there he says, Brahmano hi pratishtham aham. The Brahma Jyoti or Brahman effulgence rests on me. It is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita that the Brahman effulgence is a personal bodily rays of Krishna. And that's what Brahmaji is saying. As such, impersonal Brahman cannot be the original cause of the cosmic manifestation because it itself needs some support. Original cause is the all perfect, sentient personality of Godhead, Govinda. But all these so called philosophers and their so called followers who don't understand philosophy properly, they say all these bhaktas or devotees, they're just sentimental fools. They don't know no, they don't have the knowledge. But this is the right knowledge. Everything comes, everything rests on Govinda. The most dangerous theory of the impersonalists is that when God comes as an incarnation, he accepts a material body created by the three modes of material nature. So, three modes of material nature means Maya, right? So, they say in Brahman effulgence, some perversion, some change happens, and that change interaction, or when they change, when it comes in the material world, it takes a form, and sometimes it takes a form of Krishna, sometimes it takes a form of Ram, Narasimha, but ultimately it's Brahma. How that change takes place, they don't explain. And they say the Lord, when this change happens, they take the form of a material energy. It's not spiritual. So form of Krishna is not spiritually called. It's made of Maya. So that's why it's called Mayavad philosophy. But this theory cannot be supported either, because the Lord himself says in the Bhagavad Gita that the Brahman effulgence rests. Okay, no, I'm sorry. The next paragraph. They say when God comes as an incarnation, he accepts a material body created by the three modes of material nature. This Mayavad theory has been condemned by Lord Chaitanya as most offensive. He has said that anyone who accepts the transcendental body of the personality of Godhead to be made of material nature commits the greatest offense at the lotus feet of Vishnu. The Lord is Satchidananda Vigraha. It's not made of earth, water, fire, air, ether, just like our bodies are. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita also states that when the personality of Godhead descends in a human form, only fools and rascals deride him. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mudo ayam na bijanati. Mudo means fools and rascals. They don't know me when I come in the human form. This actually occurred when Krishna, Lord Ram, and Lord Chaitanya moved within the human society as human beings. So they might move around as human beings, but the scriptures, when they explain they're the supreme lords, we cannot say that their bodies are made of earth, water, fire, air, ether, or they have Mayic body just like we have. This is a great offense, because if we consider them as their bodies made of Maya or material elements, then what's the point in following their teachings? When Vedvaji says Shri Bhagwan Vacha, so if Bhagwan is just like any of us, maybe a greater personality, then the teachings are not absolute. The teachings are not transcendental. So since the teachings are transcendental, Vedvyaji says Shri Bhagwan Vacha, and Krishna also says he's Bhagwan. Nobody is superior to him. Matta paratram nanyat. And again, Bhagavad Gita, it is said he comes in his original spiritual form. May the Satchidananda, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. But Brahma Samhita says, so he's a supreme Lord, and he's giving us instructions to follow him. That's it. Surrender unto him. But on one hand, yes, it's confusing. It's very confusing. because there's so many people following every kind of path. But on the other hand, we have to appreciate the all inclusiveness of Sanatana Dharma. They all are part of Sanatana Dharma, whether Vaishnavas or Mayavadis or followers of Gautam or Kannad or Mimamsaka philosophy or any other thing, or Karam Khandi, or those who say we don't believe in anything, atheist, fine. Those who say we just worship the nature, that's fine. This is the beauty. Why? Because suppose in a school, when we go to a school, there are students of every different grade, from first grade to 12th grade. In first grade, 1 plus 1 equal to 2. 2 times 3 is 6. It is true. But we cannot teach the mathematics of 12th grade, integration, differential, calculus, trigonometry, or whatever, to the first grade student. He will not understand anything. And he will say, if we write any equation of differential calculus in front of him, he'll say, this is nonsense. What is this? A, B, C, X, Y, what is this? All we know is 1 plus 1 equal to 2. So they'll say, whatever differential, this is all bogus, this is nonsense, that does not make sense, and it's not true. This is not math. But who is in 12th grade, he knows whatever first grade student is learning, it is also true. And whatever he is learning, that's also true. So that is why when the Vaishnavas, or one who comes to the Vaishnava understanding, Vaishnava philosophy, he understands whatever everybody else is following is true according to their level of consciousness. There's nothing wrong. But at the same time, our duty is to follow the path properly and to preach and to help others grow. Because this is what Krishna wants from us, from his devotees. The preaching, again, the preaching has to be done with compassion. And just like if a 12th grade student wants to teach something higher to first grade student, he's not going to teach him differential calculus. No way he's going to learn. He's going to gradually lift him up. That's preaching. That's what preaching is. How much tolerance, how much patience Prabhupada had to have to teach his students. Of course, Prabhupada did mention that my Guru Maharaj sent you all. So they were hippies when they met Prabhupada, but probably, or chances are, that they had done their bhaktis in the previous lives, and Krishna had arranged for them to come to New York and in America to meet Prabhupada and take up the process further. Or many times Prabhupada also said, I made your pious activity. So whatever the case may be. Prabhupada showed extreme patience and tolerance. Extreme to preach. To not just that he wanted the movement to be started, but to set an example for us also. So when we preach, it has to be full of compassion, and we preach not from our level, we preach at their level. With humility, and with patience, and with tolerance. It takes lots and lots of efforts. But this is what Krishna is expecting from us. He is not saying, give me the result. He says, preach. All we have to do is preach. Change, transformation of the heart, Prabhupada will take care, or Krishna will take care. All we have to do is preach to our best extent possible with compassion. with again and again. This word compassion is there. Compassion, when we understand, then we'll not get frustrated, and automatically there will be humility, there will be tolerance, there will be patience. I believe Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he said, when you preach to somebody very big, very rich, or whatever personality, and everybody has some whatever knowledge we want to call, or whatever, some viewpoint about everything. He says, just go and listen to them very patiently, very humbly. Listen to them. And when they ask you a question, then you humbly bow down at their feet, hold on to their feet, and tell them, oh, sir, please forget all the nonsense that you have heard so far. We cannot say nonsense, but Thakur could say. So please forget everything and listen to what I have to say. And then preach. See, Prabhupada, again, so many times we hear Prabhupada calling rascals and fools in his lectures. Practically every lecture that we listen to Prabhupada, he says fools and rascals. But people did not mind him calling them fool and rascal. First, he was a pure devotee, definitely Mahabhagavat. So his aura was like that. People did not mind. And secondly, he was an old man, 77, 80 years old. So when he preached, when he said something like that, he could get away with that. We can't. We have to adopt his mood, not the words. We cannot say what he said. We cannot call people fools and rascals. Just imagine if I had called fools and rascals to all of you, how many would be here in this class 4 years later? And moreover, I know I'm a fool and rascal. I know that. Prabhupada is not. So again, preaching, as I said, to have the heart of compassion. Yes, I want to help this person. I'm not going to change his life. All I can do is serve Krishna, serve Prabhupada by serving this person. That's all. So again, I don't know how I got off track. So Mayavad philosophy, and it's a complete nonsense philosophy. And although Shankaracharya gave him, and there are so many followers of Shankaracharya, and when Prabhupada says rascals, at some places he said rascal, and one person who used to come to the class, he got offended. How can Prabhupada call Shankaracharya rascal? So Radha Prabhu and I, we had to tell him, hey, Prabhupada is calling. No, we are not calling. And Prabhupada, they both are great acharyas. They can call whatever they want to each other. Who are we to tell? But this is what Mayavad philosophy is. Very, very misleading, very confusing. But here Prabhupada again and again tells us, do not follow Mayavad philosophy. The personified Vedas condemn the impersonal conception as a gross misrepresentation. Even Vedas are saying that. In the Brahma Samhita, the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is described as Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. The Supreme Personality of Godhead possesses a spiritual body, not a material body. He can enjoy anything through any part of his body, and therefore he is omnipotent. The limbs of a material body can perform only a particular function. For example, the hands can hold but cannot see or hear. But because the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is made of Ananda Chinmaya Rasa and is thus Satchitananda Vigraha, he can enjoy anything and do everything with any of his limbs. Acceptance of the spiritual body of the Lord as material is dictated by the tendency to equate the Supreme Personality of Godhead with the conditioned souls. So the tendency is He has material body, I have material body, so I am also God. The conditioned soul has a material body. Therefore, if God also has a material body, then the impersonalistic theory that the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the living entities are one and the same can be very easily propagated. But this is where they are wrong. We are not God. We were never God. We are never going to become God. We'll always remain as jivas. We can move from conditioned soul to liberated soul. That's about it. We're not going to become God. Okay, so then the new paragraph starts. So I'll take it up tomorrow. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Prabhuji, we are on page 887 and we have to reach 941. So absorbing stories, Baba. Enjoyable.
It will take some time, but we'll get there.
Let it take enough of time. We are enjoying it. At least I'm enjoying it. I'm getting revised again and again about this. Personified Vedas prayers.
Yeah.
Beautiful chapter, beautiful chapter.
Especially Prabhupada's commentary. That is amazing.
Had you started with the Bhagavatam, we would have gone mad by now. We would have become rascals and fools.
Yeah, Bhagavatam, those commentaries are different.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. So you all have a great, wonderful
Thank
day.
you for
Hare Krishna.
teaching.
Jai Shri Ram.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.